Hi, dear students, friends, good evening. I'm Justin George from Gallant AS Academy, and this is our history optional for UPSC CSE 2027, and this is an orientation session. All students from various backgrounds should understand why history one of the finest choices for your mains, UPSC mains. So here let me address some questions. Whenever history comes to your mind, many of the frightened aspirants of the instinct aspirants and some they say don't choose history optional, don't choose history optional. But what is the reality? See, some people or some aspirants, some confusions here, some tensions are there. Or I think many of the aspirants before choosing an optional, they come across some classy optional subjects, and one of them is history. With regard to history, tensions are like this: history is too lengthy. Only history background students can score in the history optional. It is too boring, too many dates and facts, and too static. Usual confusions, usual tensions with many students. But I am telling you, my dear friends, history is too lengthy means you are a tourist, an Indian tourist to America or maybe Africa or somewhere without a Google map. Then history is too lengthy for you. Actually, you just see what all things, this UPC journey itself is too lengthy here. You start for UPC CSE 2027 from now onwards. At least 1 year you will take to finish the syllabus, to give an exam in 2027. In 2027, May prelims happens. Then in August, mains happens. Then from December to February, you have to wait for your interviews. Again, you have to wait for your results. So at least 2 years preparation and the entire exam process, prelims, mains, interview process, it will consume at least 2 years. If that 2 years you are preparing for civil services, definitely you can finish this history optional. Since exam is lengthy process, syllabus is lengthy, your Telegram, WhatsApp messages are lengthy, okay, or your wish to do, or maybe watch later, list of YouTube videos are lengthy, why not history? Yes, of course. And if you feel it is lengthy, the problem is you don't have a proper route map here. You don't have a proper teaching, proper guidance. See, what is to teach, what is to learn here? Ancient history, ancient India, medieval India, modern India, small bit of post-independence world history. The same things you will come across in your GS preparation. In the prelims, you have to study ancient history, medieval history, modern history, art and culture. All these things, you have to study for prelims. Plus world history and post-independence, you have to study for your mains GS1 paper. That means whatever you study there, same thing you have to study here. But the way of approach is slightly different here. Slightly different. But it is not lengthy. It is exactly the same thing you have to cover for your prelims mains preparation. So if you are preparing history without a road map or a route map, just like a tourist traveling a foreign country without a Google map, that way this is lengthy. Otherwise it is not lengthy. It is easily, yes, easily, you can easily cover this. And of course there is another question, because history lengthy means, you just understand the story here, just understand the happening, try to connect it, try to write it, enough. Now there is a question, only history background students can score in the history. This is such a humble subject, any background students can learn. UPC will never ask you, beta beti, you have, whether if you have that BA history certificate or maybe MA history certificate, then only you will get 300 plus. Students from commerce background, students from engineering backgrounds, Students from medicine backgrounds, they scored 280 plus in history optional, and many students you can see from other backgrounds, they scored 300 plus or maybe 310, 320 plus in history optional. Even the All India topper 2021, I think, Shruti, her optional was, All India rank 1, her optional was also history. So it is not necessary you must have a background. Okay, any backgrounds, no problem. Okay, your BA or a MA history certificate won't be asked by UPSC. Okay, your understanding is only, only tested. Your understanding of the events. Okay, your understanding of the events. Okay, that is tested here. Now see, it is too boring. Many say it is too boring. My dear friends, how it become too boring when you watch the exact same episodes in Netflix. There you see revolutions and counter revolutions, conspiracies, the fall of the empire, the rise of the empire, yes, the arrival and invasion of Alexander the Great, or maybe Ashoka, or you study that what is called World War I, World War II, bombing and these, ideological wars. Okay, all these in the civilization, you know, all these things you watch in Netflix, and that is, as late as 3 a.m., 4 a.m., no complaints. Or same series you watch in other platforms, you watch in YouTube and you have no problems. Same the history when it comes to UPC syllabus, you say boring. My dear friends, you just visualize the things, it won't be boring for you. It is not about the dates and the name of the kings and dynasties here. It is about the events, how they are happened, why they are happened, and how they transformed the things, how they changed the things. A beautiful, yes, beautiful, I would say, like a time travel. That is something history is all about. Understand the crux, things will be easier for you. Then say too many dates and facts here. Bad idea. See, it's not about the dates and the facts. UPC will never ask the question whether after honeymoon or before honeymoon this Shah Jahan built this, Taj Mahal. They will never ask the question like what time this man's, Napoleon sneezed. Or how many times Gandhiji, travel to Africa or maybe surround or maybe, roam around the world. Nothing like that. They are not asking about the date and figures here. They are simply asking you why this happened, how this happened, or how things, socio-economic, political, cultural elements changed after this. That analytical understanding, that is enough, and no date and exact milestone dates or facts you must understand. Or maybe each and every fact and date and year and names, nothing. It is a wrong idea. UPC will never ask that one. Then see, people say it is too static subject. That is actually a blessing here. Okay, Napoleonic reforms, or maybe Bismarck, or this Cavour, Mazzini, or what is called Subhash Chandra Bose, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, or maybe Ashoka the Great, or Samudragupta, or maybe these people, if they change things every 2025, 2026, 2027, it's a huge load for you. This is a static subject. Once it happened in the past, over. Nothing is gonna be changing here. Of course, related current affairs you have to bring into the answer for substantiating your arguments, evidences, examples, etc. But the real history, the real happening, the real event, won't change anymore. Whatever happened in the past, super fine. The syllabus is gonna never be changed here. Once you studied ancient history, that is over. Once you study medieval history, over. Modern history, over. World history, over. But for making your answers brilliant, yes, current affairs linkage has to be there in the form of evidences, examples, or yes, the strong narratives that I will tell you. But what I say is that being static, it is wonderful. No extra load of researching the current affairs of various PIBs, newspapers, magazines, etc. No such load is there. But for some other optionals, this load is always there. Okay, and also this is a subject. This is very much helpful in writing beautiful essays. To score 140 plus, 150 plus in the essay, that matters a lot. different dimensions you have to cover, especially historical dimension. That is very much essential, especially writing various essays, even the philosophical, hypothetical, metaphorical essays or GS essays. Similar way, coming to ethics, yes, there is a module. This Indian world thinkers, contributors and their contributions. For examples, you need this history in ethics. In GS1, GS2, GS3 also UPC has this, multi-discipline approach. The questions blended with the multiple themes and multiple subjects. There also historical understanding is very much essential. International relations can be clubbed with the history. Internal security can be clubbed with the history. Gig workers or economy can be connected with the history. Society can be connected with the history. So historical understanding, constitution can be connected with the, the history. So what I said is that this subject is something which overlaps with your many of your GS subjects. Okay, so all these things I would say, these things, yes, these are just misunderstanding by many people, many mentors. This is not the reality. Reality is what I said you. Okay, see, yes, വളരെ ക്രിട്ടിക്കൽ ആയിട്ടുള്ള വളരെ പ്രധാനപ്പെട്ട ഒരു സംഭവം എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് വളരെ പ്രധാനപ്പെട്ട ഒരു സംഭവം എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്, പ്ലീസ് ട്രൈ ടു അണ്ടർസ്റ്റാൻഡ് ദിസ്. സി ദിസ് ഹിസ്റ്ററി, നോ ടെക്നിക്കൽ ബാക്ക്ഗ്രൗണ്ട്സ് നീഡഡ് ഹിയർ. പ്ലീസ് ട്രൈ ടു അണ്ടർസ്റ്റാൻഡ്. No hidden formulas are there, theories are there, nothing like that. Very simple as that. No technical backgrounds needed. Strong overlap in the GS subjects. Questions are predictable in nature. You must know why, what, how factor of various elements of ancient, medieval, modern. Colonialism, imperialism is there. Freedom struggle is there. Akbar's policies are there. Decline of Mughals there. Or maybe Ashoka the Great, his Dhamma is there. Indus civilization, its urbanization is there. Or this LVC versus RVC is there. Yes, focus on the why factor, what factor, how factor. Okay, simple. Then see, yeah, if you master this timeline of the events, core timeline of the events, causes, various dimensions, historians' narratives and conclusions, history is done. When I say this, I will show you how this to be done. That in the coming classes we will be doing. It creates intellectual maturity. It is about understanding India and the world deeply. Anything you deal here, anything, essay you deal, ethics you deal, economy you deal, international relations you deal, internal security you deal, disaster management you deal, or social justice themes you deal, society you deal, culture you deal, historical understanding, yes, that will showcase your intellectual maturity. Okay, in fact that is very much needed, demanded from you by this UPSC in the mains part especially. So coming to history, please try to understand, yes, not on multiple books here. The problem with many students, why they say it is lengthy and boring, because they depend on multiple sources. For ancient history, they go for this Ubender Singh or R.S. Sharma, or they go to YouTube videos. For medieval history, Irfan Habib, Satish Chandra and many more notes. And for modern history, again, Shekhar Bandyopadhyay, Bivan Chandra, or maybe what is called Sumit Sarkar. Multiple sources along with the coaching materials notes, south notes, west notes, east notes, north notes, or maybe this chat GPT or this Gemini. Multiple sources you rely on. That is a process that makes your history boring, low scoring and too lengthy. Don't do that. Okay, here the fact is, don't focus on multiple sources here. Limit your sources, and what you have to do is that do revision on the core themes which is being repeatedly asked by UPSC in the last 10 or 15 years. See, state formation, economy, society, religion, art, administration, nationalism, colonial economy, revolutions, ideologies. If you look into this paper 1, paper 2, I would say, yeah, paper 1 is all about ancient India and medieval India. Paper 2 is all about modern India and world history. Okay, so if you look into the last 20 years or 15 years or 10 years questions, at least the last 5 years questions, themes are repeatedly asked here. Themes are repeatedly asked. Okay, some themes you must be mastering certain themes. Most importantly, with regard to state formation or these economic hardships, economic development, economic issues. Okay, then society, social institutions, their change, religion, the reflections, art, administration, nationalism, colonial economy, implications, revolution, counter-revolutions, ideologies. How to transform the societal, political, intellectual, or maybe environmental, geographical, religious, or maybe ideological, spectrums. Symbol. So the themes are repeated, focus must be on the themes. See, take care. Few things you take care. The timeline, basic timeline. That basic timeline you have to study for your prelims and mains part also. You must know the timeline of ancient India. The transition, Indus Valley civilization to Vedic to Buddhism, Jainism, Mahachandras, Maurya, post-Maurya, Gupta, post-Gupta, coming to medieval, early medieval, the tripartite struggles, imperial Cholas, then what is called the Bhakti Sufi traditions, or Delhi Sultanate, there is Vijayanagar Empire, there is Mughals, there is Marathas, there is decline of this, or maybe advent of Europeans. That basic timeline, this understanding is essential. Even if it is not for history optional, it is for GS history, this understanding is essential. That is only demanded here also. Okay. See, timeline, the causes, multi-dimensional, multi-angle causes of various events or various episodes of the history, their features, their impact and implications, various historians' narratives, that is to support or strengthen your arguments or counter arguments. You must know what are these different historians or how the historians viewed different things here. World War and its impact on India, or American French revolutions, how they laid a foundation to this modern world. Okay, freedom struggle, how moderates differed from extremists. Okay, NCM, a national calamity by Bose, or CDM, why it is, a reflection of this no taxation without representation. Know these historians' narratives on these various themes. Symbol. Then proper conclusions and preview analysis. Okay. So what I am saying is that the fundamental timeline and various causes and effect of events, features, historians' narratives, and PYQ analysis, these elements are enough for your history optional, I would say. Again, see, there is one of the very crucial, very critical thing in this history optional, which is a speciality of history optional, I would say. This is not something any other optional can claim. A very straightforward objective question of 50 marks here. Okay, there is something, an objective question of 50 marks, which is mapping. In paper one, the first mandatory question is, yes, they have given you a political map of India. Okay, a political map of India is given, symbol, just look into that, and 20 sites are marked. Some clues are given. Based on these, understanding these clues, you have to identify the site and give short description of 30 words for each. Very simple, very easy. Okay, anyway, you study ancient India, you study medieval India, you study modern India. What do? You will understand Indus Valley civilization, where it existed. Or Buddha, Mahavira, what all places, kingdoms they visited. Various settlements of these, this strong 8-pack, these Vedic audience, you will understand. The ancient medieval educational centers, or these rocket caves, or these what is called these popular capital cities, archaeological centers, these things. Anyway, you cover all these things when you cover ancient, medieval and modern. With this primary knowledge, 50 marks is safe here. In this map, you identify the locations with the help of that clues given and give short 30 words description for each. 20 into 2.5, 50 marks. I would say it's kind of an objective question, easily scorable or easily scoring comparing with the other optionals. But effort is needed here. Right guidance is needed. Right strategy is needed. Got it? Yeah, when it comes to map, find the location, that particular timeline, the key findings of the site, historical, cultural relevance, symbol. That way you have to construct 30 words for each. Then see, ancient India. How to cover ancient India? Again, I would say the same way, focus on the themes and this, archaeological or evidence-based analysis is required. Anything you study. They will ask you how this Indus civilization provide inputs to modern urbanization, or how this Vedic society is connected with this current Indian society, or how Buddhism, Jainism, they give this, or they lay this like a philosophical or intellectual framework for this modern world, modern society, or why this age is called dark age or golden age, something like that. Anything, any debate or any discussion, any controversies, any arguments you answer in ancient India, there you need strong evidences and historians' views here. Okay, so when you study ancient history, archaeological, inscriptional, coin based, material culture based, religion based, society based, historiography based, evidences must be strong with you. Then coming to medieval India, go through various institutions. Rather than the name of the kings and queens and their birthdays, you focus on the institutions, administrative institutions, economical, agrarian, art, architecture, Bhakti Sufi, regional, Mughal state, Marathas, these transitions, socio-political, economic, cultural, institutional transitions, focused. Okay, that part is important. Then coming to this modern, yes, modern history, most of the questions recently they framed, it's an analytical, game. They focus on the deep analysis of modern history events. For example, yes, there is on colonial economy, deindustrialization, press, social reforms, peasants' grievances or their movements, tribal movements, constitutional developments, nationalism, Gandhi's role in freedom struggle, linguistic states, post-independence consolidation, economic or maybe yes, linguistic consolidation. Okay, all these areas you need a deeper analysis, deeper understanding. If that understanding is clear, I would say that you can easily connect, right, and yes, conclude. So again, coming to world history, yes, your focus has to be on how these ideas reshaped the world. For example, Enlightenment or American Revolution or the French Revolution or nationalism or industrialization or World War I or World War II. Okay, all these things take care how such ideas, ideologies, strategies, revolutions, okay, leaders, how they reshaped or how they transformed the world and how they impacted India. So when I say these things, one thing is clear, my dear friends, world history is not a burden, modern history is not a burden, ancient India is not a burden, medieval India is not a burden. If you think burden, your strategy is wrong. Your teaching method or your learning method is wrong. Okay, that will not reward you in history optional. I said it. Understand the core issue. Understand the consequences. You must have sufficient examples, evidences, and historians' narratives or historians' interpretations, that is to strengthen your views or strengthen your expert opinion. That is what you do in the history learning here. Nothing else. No rocket science, no black magic, no white magic. Then see, yeah, coming to historiography, the problem with some students is that they simply write historiography in order to substantiate, in order to strengthen your arguments or your counter arguments. Sometimes you say you have to bring in what historians narrated on that, what historians established on that. But what students do, they simply say according to R.S. Sharma, according to Romila Thapar, according to like Irfan Habib, that way. If you put a historiography in the answer, it will be, it will not fetch you marks. Instead of that, see, debates on Indian feudalism, maybe it is on Indian feudalism, or it is on this, women empowerment, or it is on casteism, or it is on these ideas on liberty, equality, fraternity, revolutions, or it is on these wars, or it is on these, various ideologies of this Akbar, or maybe Ashoka, or Samudragupta, etc. So see, when it is dealing with Indian feudalism, debate on feudalism led by R.S. Sharma, or maybe Romila Thapar, or it is Irfan Habib, or it is anybody that show land grants altered economy, polity, and social hierarchy. So here, what they say, historians, I am adding from those guys who topped history optional in the previous years. Okay, last 5 years, whoever is topped history, or whoever cleared this UPSC examination with the history optional, their expert ideas I am adding and I am giving to you. See, don't use historiography to showcase your memory power. Don't use, you know the name of so many historians and their quotes. That is not historiography. Historiography means that is to strengthen your arguments, that is to establish the statement you added in the answer. Okay, so that way you have to use historiography. Got the point? So history, I would say, my dear friends, this is as simple as, you know, your any subjects you learn in this your UPC, JNE UPC preparation. Okay, don't treat this as, you know, a most Amazon kind of, or a most complicated, complex kind of subject. Nothing like that. It is very simple. One of the biggest reason for that is this is the same subject you have to cover for your prelims and your mains. Prelims history weightage. See, this year also I think 20-21 questions asked. That means 40-42 marks is from history. 40-42 marks is from history alone, if all 21 questions are answered. So last 10 years you take, out of 100 questions, something around 16 to 18 would be from, if you take an average, 16 to 18 questions would be from this history alone for prelims. So if 80 or 90 is the cutoff, something around 30 or maybe 30 to 40 marks, between 30 to 40 marks, it's a contribution by history alone. Coming to mains also, I said it. GS1, you have history, geography, society. Out of 250, around 60 to 80 marks would be from history alone. Then it has linkage in GS2, GS3, GS4, and even your essay. Okay, without a proper understanding of history, these 2, 3, even 4 is not, you know, I mean, you can dominate those papers. You can score 100 plus in those papers. History understanding is very much essential. Not a fact and figure understanding, conceptual understanding, analytical understanding, for which history optional is you know, that matters here. And it is definitely, I'm telling you, if you have a proper guidance, if you have a proper strategy, okay, which is in alliance with the UPC demand, then history is scoring.